Good evening, everyone. I am here to talk to you tonight about the warrant articles that we're going to be presenting to you for the March 10th town vote. And as you know, the Budget Committee is responsible for presenting the operational budget for the town, and the Board of Selectmen are responsible for the rest of the warrant articles. And last year, the Budget Committee did a tremendous job in trying to reduce the amount of our operating budget. And for those of you who were not present at the deliberative session, there was an additional $74,000 that was added on to the budget. And despite that, the Budget Committee was still able to come in with a 2.11% budget reduction, which is a tremendous job. The Board of Selectmen also tried to not only reduce the number of warrant articles, but also the dollar amount of warrant articles that we're asking you to pay for. So I'm going to review these with you now. And our first warrant article is P2002, and it's the operating budget. And it reads, shall a town raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant, or as amended by vote of the first session, for the purpose set forth therein, totaling $9,780,991. Should this article be defeated, the operating budget shall be $9,984,653, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town or by law or by the governing body. This budget was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 301 and the Budget Committee 710. This operating budget represents all of the totals that the Budget Committee approved, as well as the additional amount in the default budget. The default budget amount is prescribed by state statute. The second warrant article is P-20-03, and it's the Water Department operating budget. And this one reads, shall the town raise and appropriate as an operating budget for the Water Department, not including appropriations by special warrant and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant, or as amended by vote of the first session, for the purpose set forth therein, totaling $157,444. Should this article be defeated, the operating budget shall be $157,444, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town or by law. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and the Budget Committee 900. Now, the creation of this operating budget is for the Water Department, and it's in preparation for the implementation of the potable water system in Plaistow. And the budget is funded, this particular budget is funded by water usage fees and is not funded by property taxes, only by the people that are going to use the potable water. Our next warrant article is P-20-04. And this is the Public Works Facility, and this is Phase 3, the last phase of a three-phase project. And it reads, shall a town vote to raise and appropriate $350,000 as a non-lapsing appropriation per RSA 32:7-6 that will be used to construct a salt shed with solar panels for storage of sand and salt that's used to treat the town's roads during the winter months, with said funds to come from the general fund unassigned fund balance. The shed will be constructed adjacent to the Public Works Facility garage that's located at the former PennBox site, map 41, lot 11, at 144 Main Street. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and not recommended by the Budget Committee 450. The total appropriation is $350,000. And $350,000 is going to be withdrawn from the general unassigned fund balance, and so no amount is going to be raised by new taxation. This Phase 3 involves the construction of a new salt and solar shed. It's a proactive approach to complying with future DES regulations that cover the storage of road salt. And it also is going to reduce the cost of our road salt by being able to store all the salt that we need in one place and by purchasing it at lower cost during the non-winter months. The next warrant article is the contingency fund. This is Article P-20-05. Shall a town raise to vote and appropriate $80,000 for unanticipated expenses that may arise during the course of the 2020 fiscal year, with said funds to come from the general fund unassigned fund balance. Any appropriation left in the contingency fund at the end of the year will lapse to the general fund unassigned fund balance. So the total appropriation would be $80,000. It is going to be withdrawn from the general fund unassigned fund balance, which means no amount is to be raised by new taxation. Establishment of this contingency funds gives the Board of Selectmen another tool in their toolbox to take care of unanticipated expenses that may occur during the year without having to sacrifice department budgets for that. The fund needs to be reestablished every year, and so if there's any accumulated funds that are left over, the accumulated funds go back into the general fund. So we need to do this every year. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 4-0-0, and the Budget Committee was not recommending it by 4-5-0-0. The next warrant article is the Pollard Road Culvert Repair, and this article number is P-20-06. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $90,000 for the repair of Pollard Culvert? The funds will be withdrawn from the general fund unassigned fund balance. So the total appropriations is being asked is $90,000. We are withdrawing this from the general fund unassigned fund balance, so there will be no amount raised by new taxation. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 4-0-0 and the Budget Committee 9-0-0. The town received a 47% ARM grant to help fund this repair of the Pollard Road Culvert. The town has already spent approximately $47,000 in this project, and the balance to complete this project will be approximately $90,000. The next warrant article is Highway Department Equipment Truck Bed, and this is Article P-20-07. To see if the town shall vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 for the replacement of a Highway Department truck bed, with said funds to become from the Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund. The total appropriation is a withdrawal from the Expendable Trust Fund of the Highway Department equipment for $50,000, and no amount is to be raised by any new taxation. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 4-0-0 and the Budget Committee by 9-0-0. Instead of us purchasing a brand new truck for several $100,000, this article would instead just replace a piece of the truck bed and put this existing vehicle back into service for another 5 or 10 years for the town. The next warrant article is the Highway Department Equipment Forklift. This is Article P-20-08. To see if the town shall vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 for the purchase of a Highway Department forklift, $15,000 to be withdrawn from the Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund, and the balance coming from the road impact fees. So the total appropriation will be $25,000. We are withdrawing $15,000 from the Expendable Trust Fund of the Highway Department equipment, and the rest of the money is going to be coming from road impact fees. So no amount of taxation will be used for this project. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 4-0-0 and the Budget Committee by 9-0-0. Now, the Public Works Department contains a mezzanine floor, which we're going to be using to store all of our records, and also some of the Water Department equipment, like meters that we're going to be using in the future. And leasing a forklift would cost significantly more than purchasing the forklift outright. So it's recommended that we purchase it rather than lease it. The next warrant article is a capital reserve fund deposit for fire department apparatus. This is Article P-20-09. To see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $100,000 to be added to the fire department apparatus capital reserve fund that was previously established. The total appropriation is $100,000. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and the Budget Committee by 900. This deposit has been done year after year, and timely deposits in this fund assure us for orderly replacement of fire department vehicles that we use, only reserving capital reserve money as opposed to increasing the budget, and that helps to level fund the budget year after year. The next warrant article is a capital reserve fund deposit for fire department radio fund. This is Article P-20-10. To see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 to be added to the fire department radio capital reserve fund previously established. The total appropriation is $15,000. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400, and the Budget Committee recommended it by 540. This portable and mobile radio is used by the fire department. They're coming to the end of their useful life, and we can't replace parts on them anymore. The department has 37 portable radios at a cost of about $5,000 each, and 12 mobile radios at approximately an $8,000 per charge cost. The cost to replace all the radios at one time would be approximately $281,000. The town is currently pursuing a grant to offset approximately 80% of this cost, and we will be discussing this at our Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday night. The next warrant article is a capital reserve fund deposit for building and building systems. This is Article P-20-11. To see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $28,000 to be added to the building and building systems capital reserve fund that was previously established. We are asking for a total appropriation of $28,000. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and not recommended by the Budget Committee by a vote of 360. This fund was created to have a pool of money available to fix unanticipated emergency expenses or repairing building systems that are not currently in the budget. The next warrant article is a capital reserve fund deposit for energy. This article number is P-20-12. To see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be added to the Energy Capital Reserve Fund previously established. The total appropriation we are asking for is $25,000. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen 400 and not recommended by the Budget Committee on a vote of 180. This fund was established to fund projects that increase energy efficiency and energy projects that reduce the town's energy costs. An LED lighting audit is proposed for the public safety complex, and this fund is approved by the Planning Board. The next warrant article is a citizen's petition for a SOROC donation. This is Article P-20-13. On petition of 25 or more registered voters, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $7,729, $1 per person, based on the population numbers provided in the 2017 census, to support the substance misuse prevention, suicide prevention, and community wellness services of the SOROC Coalition for Healthy Youth. SOROC's work promotes wellness and nurtures resiliency for children, youth, and families of Plaistow, as well as surrounding communities. SOROC works through coordinated community education, programming, and resources, and collaborating with federal and state agencies to help direct additional resources to the towns that they serve. The total appropriation we are asking for is $7,729. This was not recommended by the Budget Committee by a vote of 090, nor was it recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 1-3-0. This article is a citizen's petition of 25 registered voters. It requests $1 per person living in Plaistow based on the 2017 census. And the numbers must be raised from taxes and donated to the SOROC Coalition for Healthy Youth. No data was presented with this petition to determine the number of Plaistow residents that this organization has supported in recent years. The next warrant article is a capital reserve fund deposit for transportation. This is Article P-20-14. To see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be added to the Transportation Infrastructure Capital Reserve Fund that was previously established. The total appropriation that we're asking for is $25,000. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 4-0-0. It was not recommended by the Budget Committee by a vote of 3-6-0. This fund was created so that the town would have a source of funds for various transportation infrastructure projects such as sidewalk improvements, drainage improvements, or hazardous mitigation projects as defined by our hazardous mitigation plan. The next warrant article is to create and deposit to an information technology fund. This is a brand new fund that we have created this year. It's Article P-20-15, to see if the town shall vote to establish and create an information technology capital reserve fund under the provisions of RSA 35:1 for the purpose of funding equipment and software updates for all the town's computerized systems as needed in the future, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 to be placed in this fund, and further to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend this fund. The total appropriation that we are asking for is $15,000. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 4-0-0 and not recommended by the Budget Committee by a vote of 4-5-0. This article would create a fund for information technology capital projects, such as purchasing new computer servers or other computer hardware and software applications for the town in the future. The next warrant article is funding for permits, design, and engineering to fix the cap of the Plaistow landfill. This article is P-20-16. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $150,000 to fund the permitting, design, and engineering process for the Plaistow landfill closure to comply with DES regulations? The funds will be withdrawn from the general fund unassigned fund balance. So the total appropriation we are asking for is $150,000. It is going to be withdrawn from the general fund unassigned fund balance. And so no amount is going to be raised by new taxation. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 4-0-0 and not recommended by the Budget Committee by a vote of 3-6-0. This article would fund required permits for the engineering necessary to fix the cap of the Plaistow landfill, and that one's located off of Old County Road. This is going to be a proactive approach to future higher costs that will comply with DES regulations on landfills. The next warrant article is the treasurer, and this article is P-20-17. Shall a town vote to appoint a town treasurer pursuant to RSA 41:26-E upon recommendation of the town manager with the approval of the Board of Selectmen? Such appointment is to be made in accordance with RSA Statute 669:17-D. Such appointment shall be made in writing and shall include the compensation to be paid. If approved, the person holding the elected office shall continue to hold elected office until the next annual town election following the vote. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 4-0-0. The position of the town treasurer requires special knowledge and financial skills needed to properly reconcile the many accounts and required reporting for this role. And unfortunately, previously elected officials without these skills have prematurely resigned from the position, and it's left the town with no treasurer. So this article would allow the town to recruit and appoint individuals with the adequate knowledge and experience for this position. The next warrant article is the Expendable Trust Fund, Highway Department Equipment. This is Article P20-18. Shall a town vote to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to the Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund? This fund was created in 2006 with Warrant P-24. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 3-1-0. This is one of the funds where the Select Board is not listed as agents for the fund. So we are just amending the language to allow us to be able to vote on expending funds during the process of the year for highway equipment, as opposed to waiting till the end of the year and going before a town warrant once at the end of the year. The next warrant article is Expendable Trust Fund for Old Home Day. This article is P-20-19. Shall a town vote to create an expendable trust fund on the provisions of RSA 31:19-A for the express purpose of depositing any donations or proceeds from the advertising brochure for Old Home Day? Said funds shall be used exclusively for expenses incurred by the Old Home Day activities, and further to appoint the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend the fund. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen by a vote of 4-0-0. This article creates a fund to accept donations and monies that are collected from fundraising activities to exclusively pay for the expenses for the town's Old Home Day activities. And this fund may eventually reduce the budget appropriations that we ask for this town event. The next warrant article is the Town Elderly and Disabled Tax Relief Trust Fund. This article is P-20-20. Shall a town vote to establish a Town Elderly and Disabled Tax Relief Expendable Fund per RSA 31:19-A for the express purpose of depositing any voluntary donations to the fund? Said fund shall be used to defray the real estate taxes of elderly and disabled Plaistow residents of low income, and further to name the Board of Selectmen as agents to expend from said fund. This is recommended by the Board of Selectmen on a vote of 4-0-0. This article is creating a fund to accept voluntary donations to assist low-income elderly and disabled Plaistow residents by helping to defray their real estate taxes with these donations. This fund is not going to be funded by any taxation. It is a voluntary donation. And our very last warrant article is the Conflict of Interest warrant article, P-20-21. And it reads, shall the town revise the Conflict of Interest Code as set forth below? And I'm not going to read the whole warrant to you because it's very lengthy, but basically this was created, I believe, in 2002, and what we are doing is eliminating most of the creation language, which is no longer pertinent. And this also allows citizens to more fully participate in their local government. This was recommended by the Board of Selectmen on a vote of 4-0-0. So that ends all of the warrants that are going to be presented on March 10th. So I hope that you all come out and vote and make your opinions known to all of the people that you elected in the town. I wish you a good evening, and you all have a good night. Thank you.